I'm with my co-host AJ, the Superior Dude, and today we are on episode 2 of going back into the Oak values. And today's Oak value is acceptance. Acceptance is defined on the back of the card as the quality or state of being accepted or acceptable. And I'm not really a fan of what I put on the back of here. That was 3 years ago. So I wanted to read it because I did it 3 years ago. But so my question for you is, what if the abundance that you've been chasing has been waiting on one thing, and that one thing is acceptance? Because the moment you stop resisting reality, you free your energy to build, to receive, and to grow from what is already within you.
Yep.
So, what if that, AJ? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's funny because it was something I was actually reading earlier about abundance and acceptance,
Hmm.
and it was saying it said I had to write it down because I liked it so much. If a man doesn't have acceptance, abundance collapses the second life pushes back.
Yep.
And I was like, well, it's so true because when we don't accept reality, then we can't appreciate any of the things that are in front of us. We can't.
True. So, how do you accept reality? What is reality?
Reality is whatever your circumstances are, regardless of what they are. It doesn't matter what your situation is, whether your situation is good, whether your situation is bad. It could be pain. It could be, looking at mistakes in life. It could just be the season that you're in. It could be going through divorce. There's there's so many different things that define, what people see as reality. What I see of my reality is not the negatives. I don't look at all the things that are wrong in life or the negative situations that happen throughout day to day life. I look at the positives. My reality is that I have Jesus, so I'm never alone. I have good friends. I have good brothers. I have a good brotherhood. I have a good family. I have good children.
Hmm.
And I appreciate the fact that I have a nice home to live in. I have a vehicle that gets me where I need to go. And that is what I see my reality is. And that is what I accept my reality is. You could flip that switch, which is what a lot of men do. And I could say, okay, well, I'm disabled. Well, you know, I'm divorced. Well, I've lost a job. Well, I've lost a loved one. You know, well, I've been in a car accident, or well, my car's falling apart. You can say anything that you want and make that your reality.
Hmm.
And if that is what you accept is your reality, then that is what your life is built off of. There's no abundance.
Okay. So it's funny because so yesterday we were at that conference, and one of the speakers said, "The world will give you what you're willing to accept." And it's weird that happened right before this podcast, and it's true. If you're willing to accept mediocre in your life, you're going to get mediocre. If you are that guy that says, the world is against me, everything's happening to me, then the world will be against you because this is what you're accepting in life. Um,
That's right.
so I tell people a lot that I acceptance is to accept that something happened doesn't mean you have to agree with it. So I can accept that I failed at my marriage, that I have whatever. You can accept whatever you can accept things, but you don't have to agree with them. I mean, I first when the marriage thing first happened, I accepted that I failed my marriage. Now, I accept the fact that we didn't grow the way we should have grown. You know, so it's not a failure. But you accept it's all in your mindset, and the more you accept the positive side of things or the growth mindset, the more abundance you have.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I
Okay.
absolutely agree, brother. Um, we we tell ourselves so many different things uh, that just they lower us. They lower down the ability that we have to appreciate life. They lower down what life has to offer for us. They diminish what life has to offer for us
Hmm.
by exactly like you said, by just like it was said yesterday, when we accept that, our life has handed us oranges when we want apples, then our life is going to hand us oranges and not apples.
You got it.
you know I think another big thing is, acceptance is when we actually stop lying to ourselves as well.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. You
I
want to go
think,
into that more? An example that you know of that you can think of?
yeah, so I mean, you know you accept life, and you're in a situation, you're in a relationship, or you're in a marriage that's been long term, and a lot of whether it be the male side or the female side, they say, well, we've been together for a long time, so we love each other, right? So everything's fine, everything's just fine. And you're not accepting the truth, you're not accepting that you may have grown in two different directions, you may have completely different goals at this point, and that can be a very sad thing. And it is a very sad thing, no matter how you look at it, it's a very sad thing, right? But you're
Hmm.
lying to yourself if you're not willing to at least examine that situation and sit down with your partner and say, okay, look, there are different paths that we seem to be going on at this point.
Hmm.
And I worked with somebody just recently that was in that situation where their paths were kind of in the complete opposite end of the
Hmm.
spectrum. As she was going in one direction, he was going in another direction. And though both of their directions were great directions, because they were so separated in the way that their lives were going to go, you had to really step back and be honest with yourself and sit down together and admit that there's a question here now. And if you're not honest about it, and let's say that he had decided to just say, well, you know what? I love her. We've been together for a very long time. And that's where he was we can make this work because we love one another. But the we can make this work was more about him just lying to himself about the fact that he was going to put down the direction that his life was going in. He was going to set aside where he wanted to end up in life and what it was going to take for his life to go in that direction. So if he wasn't willing to at least be honest with himself
Hmm.
that there was a big question there and it was time to have that conversation and stop just keeping it inside and living with it like that, then he was going to end up throwing his life away.
That I love when we have breakthroughs with clients like that. That's great, and I am so excited that he figured it out. Like those are the moments that make this work 100% worth it. Um, so before I go into what I'm going to touch on what you just said, but if any of this hits you guys, please like, subscribe, follow us. Don't stalk us, just follow us. Yeah, that's it. But so acceptance, it's that's where peace begins. And like you were saying with the client you were talking about, when you accept that, you are going this way and she's going that way or whatever, that's where peace begins. I don't have to follow you. I don't have to chase you. I have to be me.
Right?
And that is something that's so incredible. And we've worked with several people, but where they get married young and they guys are so guilty of this. We mold into our wives. We become whoever they want us to be. We're like silly putty or whatever. And we forget who we were before marriage. And when
Mhm.
you realize and you can accept the fact that you're growing in a different direction, things get easier. And sometimes we've had a few clients where their wives will realize it and they'll start growing together, or he will do one thing, she'll do another thing. And you know what? It was too soon. They got married too soon, and they need to be themselves. And that's like I said. That's when the pace starts. That's when things start moving in the right direction. When you accept those things, I don't even know what else to say. Like we've had a few people with that like that. They get married young. As the older they get, the wiser they get. So always be yourself. Accept
And
yourself for who you are.
sometimes you need to take a step back,
Hmm.
and you need to look at the man in the mirror and see who you are today. But you can't ever forget where you came from, and that's important. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's really important to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, before this relationship, would this have been the choice that I would have made with my life? Would I stop growth, or would I choose not to go in this direction in life just because it might mess up my relationship, or it may cause some turmoil in my circumstances of life? And like you said, we mold. We're very guilty of it. We mold like silly putty. And that was another conversation that I was having with that gentleman. Is his life had became too much of just what was that word? Uh, I'm so
Silly
sorry. I
putty.
was saying to you. No, I was saying it to you earlier. Uh, when you like co-sign somebody, making excuses for them.
Yes.
Um,
Excuses.
you know, I can't think of the word that I use. That's going to drive me nuts. Uh, Jeez. Anyways, it's more or less just making excuses for the reason why things are, the way that they are, and always making excuses for the reason why she's growing in a different direction now in life, and why she's changed, and always having excuses for why you can't better yourself, or you can't go in this direction, because you've got to always co-sign what she needs or what she wants. You've always got to make excuses for those situations in life, and honestly, you shouldn't fight reality. You're not supposed to fight reality, and that's acceptance. You don't fight reality, you build from it.
hmm
You build from that reality.
Yeah.
And the
Absolutely.
more that you build, the more abundance becomes of your life, and the more good you can do with your life, not
Hmm.
just for yourself, but for others, just the same. And if there's somebody in your life that stops that, then what are you really accepting?
Good question. Good question. So when you were
And I
talking about
think
the excuses earlier, I was going to say, so when you accept who you are and accept who they are, accept all of the realities of your life, that is taking responsibility. And there's nothing better than a man who take responsibility for the things in his life. You stop playing the blame game. You stop making excuses. And when you stop making, when you take that accountability and the acceptance, then excuses they lose their power. There's no power behind them. And the one thing that we heard yesterday in that conference was that you're on a highway going from point A to point B, and every single excuse that you make either for yourself or for somebody else is you taking that exit off the highway. So you are now taking a different direction. You're not going to where you once were planning to go, or your goal, which is should be set from your heart, your mind. That's your goal. Stop getting off the highway. Stop making those excuses, whether they're for you or anybody else. Just stop.
yeah, yeah,
If you're going to make an excuse for somebody else, you need to ask the question, would they make an excuse for me?
right,
And
right,
as much as you want to be a yes, because you want to make an excuse for them, It's still that's toxic. Don't make
Yeah,
excuses, man. Just be you. Be you. Come up natural, come up whole, and that's it. That's all I got.
yeah, and be honest. Be honest. You know, one of the biggest things that men don't want to accept in life is they don't want to accept pain. They don't want to accept loss. They don't want to accept divorce. You know, we don't want to accept setbacks. That's just where we get stuck, but that is what keeps us chained.
Yep.
That is what keeps us chained down. And that's what stops us from having the ability to continue to grow in any direction. In
Absolutely.
any direction. You
Yep.
need to accept reality. You need to accept your circumstances, and you need to learn to accept that in a positive way and use it to be a building block for your life to continue to build in a positive direction. Stop using the excuses and the negative and the setbacks. Stop allowing those things to chain you down
Hmm.
and use it to build. And like I was saying to you earlier, I came up for some with something that I wanted to throw out for all the men that do watch this today. So bear with me because I wanted to write this down because I really wanted to throw this out. So um, write this down, okay, guys. Here's what I'm refusing to accept today, okay. And then if I fully accepted this, my next move would be, that's where growth starts. So to go there again, start off, write down, here's what I'm refusing to accept. Then, if I fully accepted this, my next move would be, and that is where your growth will start.
I like that.
So try that, gentlemen. Try that.
So I have a quick question, not to knock you down on that, but what if I refuse to accept something that is reality?
Grow from it.
What's up?
If wait a minute, say that again.
What if I or somebody else decides they do not want to accept what is reality?
They
So you say I
don't
won't
want to
accept this in
accept
my life, but what if
reality.
you have to?
Well, I mean, if you don't want to accept what
Like
reality is, then you're chained down.
like if I get fired tomorrow and I still keep going to work because I don't accept that I got fired.
I mean, what's the outcome going to be of that? Are you
Well, I
going to
won't
have
have
a
a paycheck.
paycheck?
I get to go to work every day till they arrest me, I
No,
guess.
no, you're not going to be able to pay your bills. Reality is going to kick, and that is the scary part of it, right? If you don't accept what really is, then eventually all it's going to do is harm you beyond belief. The point will come where it is going to harm you. And it
Yes,
may harm the people around you. And if you are a man and you have younger children, it's very likely that it's going to affect those children. It's going to harm those children as well because
absolutely.
your reality is their reality, right? They are looking up to you. You are Superman. You are dad. And like it or not, even for men that have grown up and said their entire lives that they would never grow up to be anything like their fathers, we may grow up and we may have some differences, but we grow up to be our fathers. And that just is reality. It is reality. But just because you accept that reality does not mean that I have to fully be who my father is. I can take that reality and I can build from that reality and build myself into the best version of what that is, what that looks like, and who that can be.
Yeah,
And that is acceptance, gentlemen. That is acceptance.
that's beautiful right there. You are 100% correct on that. So, and so as far as accepting the things around you, we're gonna wrap it up shortly. But accepting who you are and everything about you, and that took me a very long time. And when I have the clients, I try to get them to accept who they are. I'm telling you, it's the most liberating thing in the world when you accept who you are, when you accept your faults, your wins, your successes, your failures, your struggles. That's when you grow. And with that, we have a men's group. We have a whole community. It's a school community, SKOOL, and the guys that come in there, I'm telling you, they have come in with problems after problems, and they leave with nothing but success and wins. And if they don't leave with success and wins, they leave with steps to get where they need to go. And AJ and I provide those steps. And to be honest with you, they provide steps for us sometimes. So it's such a community it's such a tight community where we are constantly building each other up. It's really awesome. So if you guys wanted to check that out, or if you're looking for any coaching, go to northmancoaching.com. Check out the website. All the links are there somewhere. And if you're looking for an awesome podcast that is not this one, I've got two for you. Check out Sessions and Lessons and Glowing Off Script.
Okay.
These two podcasts they're awesome. The Sessions and Lessons are two people. That's all I can say is two people. But they go back and forth, just like a real couple conversation. They are excellent. And then Glowing Off Script is Glow Rosario, and she's actually going to have me on next week, I think. Pretty sure it's next week. I don't know. Anyway, but she gets into some personal stuff. She's funny. She gets deep. She's really good, actually. You guys would like her. They're all on all major podcast platforms. So check out Sessions and Lessons, Glowing Off Script.
Sure.
That's all I got. You got anything else, brother?
Yeah. No. I think that wraps it up. I think that was a great way to explain acceptance, the importance of it, and I think it ties in perfectly with last week with abundance. And yeah, guys, if you are interested, you can go back and you can see all of our podcasts. They're all on there on YouTube and on Facebook
And
at
Spotify?
Northman Coaching or at AJ underscore Deep Roots. And you can see last week's if you missed last week's with on abundance. And yeah, we're live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you are interested in coaching of any kind, go to northmancoaching.com or check out the bio. All of our information is there, and you can go to northmancoaching.com and you can find absolutely everything.
Yes.
So with
Yes.
that,
With
gentlemen,
that, check out our morning devotionals every Monday through Friday morning at 6 a.m. If you need a little bit of God in your life, come check us out. We do a devotional, two devotionals. We compare them, relate them to each other, to the brotherhood, to men's work, to just making your life a better place to live, a place that's worthy of accepting, guys.
okay.
All right. You guys check us out. Like, subscribe, please. And we will see you guys next week for the podcast or tomorrow morning for
Sure.
our devotional. All right, guys.
Okay.
Have a wonderful evening.
Have a wonderful evening, guys.